Hello, everybody. My name is Laura Key, also known as the Realty Goddess. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your time. And if you are not liking or sharing or subscribing, please take a few seconds to do that because we cover everything about real estate. And this is a great place to get educated and great information to you. Today, we're talking about looking at homes with kids, shopping homes when you have children, because sometimes you cannot leave them home. And to be very honest, you do want to include them in the process. It is a great way to get them immersed and excited about your move. But let's talk about some of the common questions that I get about when you are shopping for homes. When is it okay to bring kids? When it is not okay to bring kids? Well, there really isn't a time that you can't bring your kids, but there are a couple of things that you do need to know when you have them. In my experience, there are more pros than cons to having kids with you when you're moving. I have had wonderful stories of children helping to ring the doorbell when it's time to go in and see a home. Makes them feel like they're being active with the family. And the family does walk around with them and ask questions of them as they're moving along. And kids have an opinion. And sometimes they're absolutely hilarious. And so you got some great things going on with there. But let's consider a couple of things when you do bring your children out to see homes. Okay. Number one, liability definitely matters. Okay. If you have a newborn, of course, you're carrying them or you have them strapped to you, that may not be as much of an issue unless you have an actual toddler. When you have a toddler, they're naturally curious, and your kid may be used to having a home that is safe. It's kid proof, right? But some of these homes that you're seeing may not be. So you want to make sure that you have your children with you at all times and that you are being able to control or see what they're doing, because you do not want them to get into a situation where they pull down something on them or touch something they may not need to touch, or there are certain things that you want to make sure that you're keeping them safe, right? Kids don't necessarily understand that the new home is not a playground. They can be very excited about it, but you definitely want to make sure that you keep their little hands safe and sound. Okay. Number two, is it an open house or is it a private showing? Open houses are always usually group affairs, and you'll need to check your comfort level by bringing your kids in to these social settings. Maybe one parent can go in first to kind of scope it out, and then they can let the other parent know, oh, hey, we're pretty good. Come on, let's bring them in, and we'll go in and we'll talk to this, because kids can also get very bored at these grown-up events, and you'll need to be able to focus on them and answer their questions. You don't want your attention to be split in between your children and the questions that you may have of the agent at that open house. But in general, it's easier to go to an open house kid free. But if you need to tag team it as a parent, totally okay. Number three, is it important to have your child with you? Sometimes when you have an older child, you may want to help them get adjusted to the idea of moving. Okay. It could be useful to lay the ground rules before you go into these open houses or seeing a home with an agent, so you can kind of let them know what's going to happen and what you're going to do and how it's going to flow for them when you have them. Teens can also really give you valuable perspective on a new home. Now, we all know some of them may be excited about moving, some of them may not, but their opinions need to be heard and valued as well. So you want to make sure that if you have older kids, bring them. I've got wonderful stories of kids coming with us that are 13, 14, 15, all up to 17, 18 years old, believe it or not. And they have valuable opinions. And sometimes they'll remind you of things that you said that you may have forgotten about. But when you have younger children, you need to make sure that they understand what you're doing. We're looking at this house. We're thinking about moving into this house. What do you think of this room? Where would you want your room to be? There are things that you can do to make them feel very, very included in this process. And then sometimes when you have no other options, if you don't want to bring your children normally and you don't have a scheduled babysitter, just know that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you having your kids along for the ride. It can be useful to let your agent know that you're bringing your children. They may have some things for them to do as well as homework. Like I have something great that I'll share with you at the end of this broadcast that is totally free to you. But the more that they're involved, the more easier it's going to be. Now, of course, there's a whole psychological aspect to kids and moving. And there is going to be a part two to this video. So, but this one is home shopping with kids. And we'll talk about some of the questions that you may ask from your kids on our next video. For now, I want you to know there's nothing wrong with bringing your kids. Keep them involved. Let them know what you're doing. It's going to make it an easier transaction. Now, I promised you something fun at the end of this video, and it is actually coloring pages for your kids. So if you are interested in moving and you want to start warming them up about moving, there's nothing better than coloring them. And guess what? You don't have to be a kid to color. I love coloring. It's very therapeutic. It can be also very stress-free for you. So make sure that you go to the download page and you will be able to get these free coloring pages. And if you're ready to buy or sell, I am your go-to girl. I can help you regardless of wherever you live. And I look forward to helping you in your new journey. I am Laura Key. I am also known as the Realty Goddess of Los Angeles, California, is where I'm based. But guess what? I'm actually coast to coast. I am licensed in Florida as well as California, and I also have licenses in Colorado. So you want to check in with me as you got mid all the way. But regardless of where you live, I'm here. Enjoy those coloring pages. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day. Hey, and why don't you go give a smile to somebody today? You never know when it's going to change somebody's life. Peace out.